Hello and welcome to another episode of Aussie Pomcast. We're back again for another week.
Yes, hello. Bakes is looking very fantastic. Just come back from a very exotic holiday in Broome. Look at you.
Very exotic. Yeah, I went to Broome and I looked after a child in a swimming pool. Yeah. Got it all in my ear.
Fun, so you can hear nothing.
Yeah, I can't
which
hear
is
anything.
Probably a blessing to you.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I kind of went. I was trying to get it in my ear so that when I got back to do this with you I didn't have to listen to your accent.
Funny. Let's get straight into Eurovision, and we'll make the most of the fact that you can hear nothing, because I know how much you probably hate this stuff.
I don't really want to hear any of this.
I absolutely love Eurovision. It's one of my favourite times of year, and as you can see, this picture behind us, if you're watching on the YouTubes, it's Ukraine that won this year. It was very political. Well, I'm not going to say it was the best song.
Well, was it a good song?
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Top 5?
It's all right. Look. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, top 5 or 10, I'd say. But unfortunately for us Brits, he beat out Sam Ryder from the UK, which is very sad because it's actually the highest we've had in a very long time.
Yeah, I was going to say, second is a great
It means that Europe doesn't hate us, actually, as much as we think they do. So lo and behold, we put up a decent song and we might actually do okay.
That actually means that we've just been producing 20 years of rubbish songs, right?
Yes, probably. But that's it. It just shows. Put someone decent up. He's a TikTok star, old mate Sam Ryder. He's got a song. It's a lovely, beautiful song. And
I have heard the song.
It's good, isn't it? This song. You know what? It's made #1 over in the UK.
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
Beating out Harry Styles. At least about to. So hopefully that's still the case when this goes to air. But Sheldon Riley from Australia, he bombed a bit. Look, I like him. I love the song. He wears his face mask. It's all sparkly, right. And it's not N95 safe. You know, it's sort of like just like a bejazzled one. Right. And he finished in 15th place, which is unfortunately like one of the lowest that we've had since we joined Eurovision. So there's talk now on
Sorry, who are you talking
Australia.
about? Oh, okay.
Australia. You know, this we. This
yeah,
over here, this over here,
right.
So anyway, look, he didn't do that great. He didn't get very much of the public vote, which was a real shame and a bit awkward. But you know what? He was great. I loved him. Let's have a watch.
So you go and leave the pain and find another way to make yourself another game. Maybe one for all to play. Cause it's not just me who's not the same.
So, as you can see, it was great. Like you say, not very COVID-friendly, the mask and whatnot, and very much a shame they didn't do that great. There's some talk now that Australia might not be invited to Eurovision again.
I mean,
because we haven't done that great for a couple of years now.
Why are they in it anyway? It doesn't make any
because,
sense.
you know, there's enough Europeans out here, isn't there?
But but they're eligible to compete for whoever they migrated for.
Yeah, but Eurovision's just a name. It's
It isn't just a name. It's a name for everybody that's from Europe and Australia, right?
And Australia. Well, everybody's pretty much from Europe anyway. So
anyway, I did actually think it was pretty good that the UK came that high, though. I mean,
great. Nice to see some people taking Eurovision a bit seriously for once.
It might be taken a bit more seriously now moving forward. Some people might think if they can get a #1 out of it, they might actually put themselves forward.
Well, yes, and exactly. And last year's act, Måneskin, the Italian act, ended up being one of the world's biggest acts.
Didn't they tour with Rolling Stones?
Yeah, they've done massive. Like, they've been everywhere. So they've gone global. They've done Coachella. So, look, I mean, it's definitely a platform for people now. Anyway, moving on. So much drama in Eurovision, but not nearly as much drama as we got in the WAGatha Christie.
I know. This thing is taken over.
Absolutely amazing.
I genuinely can't remember anything more salacious or scandalous in like UK tabloids for a very long time.
So good.
It's ridiculous.
So good. So two wags. This is a bit of background for those that are just catching up. So this is Colleen Rooney, Wayne Rooney's other half. There she is. She used to be blonde. She's not now. Fun fact. Rebecca Vardy, who's Jamie Vardy's wife, and the pair of them have been friends on Instagram. Now, what had happened is Colleen Rooney had suspected that Rebecca was leaking things to the press about her.
I think she just suspected someone on her Instagram following had been leaking stuff to the press, right? Because it was a closed Instagram account.
So what she did was she set her, those of you that are on Instagram, those savvy ones will know that you can restrict your audience to as little as one person. Yeah. And she did, and restricted it to just Rebecca Vardy and see if that story would made the press. And it did. So she's outed her to everybody in dramatic fashion on Instagram. And now here we are, the pair of them having a crack at each other in court. It's made it this far.
Which is why it's called WAGatha, right?
WAGatha, yes, because wags.
It's a pun on Agatha Christie, just in case anybody didn't know.
This is it. Yeah. Thanks for explaining.
No, but it was also just a random person on Twitter that just came up with that.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. I like it. It's like Megxit, WAGatha Christie, like it. Anyway, here we are. Wayne Rooney there. He's been, you can see he's carrying Colleen's designer handbag there. So he's been dragged along for this. It's just like,
man carries bag.
I mean, this is so funny. Like the changing roles here is that this guy now has to sit through the whole thing, and he has been. He's supporting her through the entire thing.
He's got nothing else on, to be fair.
Yeah, but you know, he's hanging out. He doesn't look through to me there, does he? He's hanging out there, carrying her handbag, sitting through the whole thing. He said nothing, reacted barely an iota to anything that was said, including things that have been said about him. But now he's lining up to give evidence.
He's given evidence.
Has he given an evidence already? Okay, tell me.
Sorry.
I need to catch up.
Yeah, okay.
Tell me.
Right, so he's given evidence, and he's basically said that in 2016. Sorry, I'm getting my sixes mixed up.
It won't be 6 because that's when they were like a big deal.
4.
Yeah.
2016, and basically we were preparing. England were preparing to go to the Euros, and apparently the FA were worried that Rebecca Vardy had a column in the Sun, and they were worried that it was distracting from the rest of the team, and that she was saying things that she shouldn't to make it more difficult for the team to perform when it came to the Euros.
And he was supposedly supposed to have said something to Jamie Vardy about it.
So he says, he took to the stand and he said that he took Jamie aside because he was asked by the FA, and he said, look, I've been asked to say, can you speak to Rebecca and just say, can she calm it down, was his word apparently. So that it's not an unwanted distraction going into 2016. If you remember 2016, we lost to Iceland. One of the sport's biggest minnows ever. Yeah, it was an absolute disgrace. Roy Hodgson.
Don't underestimate Iceland.
Yeah, well, but anyway, it was a bit of a disgrace, wasn't it? But Jamie Vardy, who isn't giving evidence, so it doesn't make any difference to the trial. He just came out yesterday and said, utter nonsense. No one ever told me that. Wayne Rooney never spoke to me about it.
Love this.
So now it's gone from the two partners having this big spat to kind of on field, really, to the two players.
Now hubbies are having a crack at each other. Yeah. It's brilliant. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving that. Like, look at Colleen there. She looks so smug, doesn't she? She's quite enjoying it.
So now that it's become him against Vardy, front page of the Sun.
Go on.
WAGatha Christie. He's Waz.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's a bit.
It's not funny. That's terrible.
That's not funny.
That's not funny. It's not good.
It's not why it's good. It's a pun on Agatha Christie because his name is Wazza. Yeah,
Is it?
Wazza.
Thanks for explaining.
Yeah,
thanks.
Right.
We'll have a good mansplanation. It's so much fun. Absolutely loving it. Look, I mean, it's a shame that we haven't seen more of Jamie Vardy, to be honest. Shame that he's been focusing more on his career than
playing football,
hanging out at court, which for all our entertainment. Keeping his mind on the job, much like our lovely Queen, who still answers the call of duty, even though she is sick as a dog, bless her. She's mobility issues is the official line. Look, she's on her way out. We all know it, don't we? It's horrible.
God,
she is. She is. We can say that she is. Like no one's coming out of here alive, Bakes. That's today's morbid thought.
Okay, cool.
Look at her. She's lovely. So just 2 weeks out from the Jubilee now. And every time she makes an appearance now, it's like this big celebration, which is such a change from a year ago. Like, she would have been at everything. And now if she turns up at one thing, it's like this biggest deal. So it just shows how much things have changed.
I think it's only because last week she obviously didn't give the speech that she would ordinarily do to open Parliament, which is the first time in 59 years or something.
Yeah.
So
Charles and Wills.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing it for the first time. Wills has never even been, I don't think. And so that was obviously quite a significant moment. So then for her to miss that, obviously something's not quite right, but then to come back, it's a positive story. It's she's
nice.
Still well enough to do some things, and that's great. Hopefully she's just picking and choosing the things that are important, because a celebration about her, she should be at.
Oh, definitely.
The opening of Parliament. Boring.
You know what?
No one cares.
You know what? If I were her, I'd just say, right, I'd go through my schedule, go boring.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll go to that. Cake at that one. Lovely. Good spread at that one.
Yeah. Who writes my speech for this one? Someone else read that.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered.
I think, you know what? Your shit's given by the time you're her age. You just be like, nah. Nah.
Party,
I get it.
Party in my honour. I'll be there.
Yeah. I'll be on the dance floor. See you there.
Although I'm a bit confused.
We're doing the sprinkler.
God, yeah, Nutbush City Limits. I was a bit confused by some of the other people that were there, though. I mean, some were very obvious, right? So obviously, let's not forget, in the UK, we've got a Welsh national treasure in Catherine Jenkins, you know, one of their biggest exports ever.
Yeah.
Whether or not you like her.
Yeah, go on, right.
And you've got Helen Mirren, who played her and got
Bloody
an Oscar
love
for
her.
her.
Bloody
yeah,
love her.
exactly.
Right.
English export
We'll
around
have a bit
the world.
about Helen Mirren.
Huge.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
What's his link?
Jumping on sofas.
What? I don't understand why.
I just do not. Yeah, look, he's got something to promote, obviously, but I don't know why he's. I mean, he's a kind of a big deal, but to be honest,
what's he got to do with anything?
he kind of like overshone the occasion a little bit. Threatened to.
Well,
because,
yeah,
you know,
because
Top
they had
Gun's out at the moment,
And they
isn't
had
it?
to
It's
change
supposed
the
to be
size of the
ace.
podium and everything. Like, it's just.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal.
Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, trust Tom Cruise to go and steal headlines on the Queen's special day. But we've also seen Wills a lot out and about as well.
Yep.
Like, I think you can see the changing of the guard here a little bit. So obviously we've had Charles opening Parliament. We've had Wills going out delivering knighthoods and giving out damehoods as well. Gave one to the lovely Deborah James, who unfortunately has terminal cancer, and went to visit her at her home, which was very lovely.
And
give her a
she's a really
damehood.
interesting story, actually, that, to be honest, I didn't know that much about until the last few weeks, when obviously she's getting to the point now where she sadly doesn't think she's got much longer to live. She's in palliative care. But she's been blogging and she's been podcasting right for the last few years, I think, about bowel cancer and her getting it and what it's like, and how we just need more treatment and we need more support for it and more research. She raised £5 million. Like,
She did a great job, and I think I've been watching some of her videos as well, and some of the content on there, she's just breaking down the stigma, because bowel cancer isn't something that people talk about very often, is it? I'm glad that she's doing that, and look, very terrible thing that she's going through, but lovely that she could have a visit from Wills and receive a damehood.
And he's been busy though, right? So like, he wasn't just at that, he went to her house to give her that, and then he was at
the FA Cup,
where we all want to be.
Yeah, he's got the best patronages.
Not
I'm
bad.
sorry, right? He gets all the best jobs, right? Gets to go to the football, all the things.
That's it.
Yeah,
He gets to go to the
gets free
football.
tickets to all the best things, like posh seats as well.
Posh.
Yeah, don't have to sit with all the plebs.
Yeah.
Well, and also the Queen as well. We've seen her out a little bit more recently as well. She went to go and collect a horse from Azerbaijan. Now
She didn't go to Azerbaijan to
No,
collect
she
the
did
horse, so
not.
just to be clear,
They turned up at Windsor with this damn horse, and
What, uninvited. No one knew it was coming.
and they said, "Oh, is
So
it?"
someone at the door. It's someone from Azerbaijan. They've got a horse for you.
Oh yeah, lovely. Thanks. Yeah, have they brought any Maltesers with them? Anyway, she turns up and collects this horse. And she receive a lot of weird gifts for special occasions. Do royals? You know, I remember once Prince George received a boat for something. It was like 2 or something daft.
Who doesn't need a boat at 2?
I know.
Exactly.
It's got several
Where's
already.
my horse from Azerbaijan?
So anyway, she received this gift. Actually came out, and look, they're known for being horsey people, aren't they, the royals?
Yes.
They like the horses. So she's turned up to go and accept this gift, which is lovely. And she's also appeared to open the Elizabeth line on the tube as well, wearing a lovely shade of yellow, looking very bright and lovely.
Yeah, she looks good.
Yeah. Love her, and you know what? We've got to make the most of seeing our Queen, haven't we?
Well, yeah.
She's-
I mean, it's all gearing up for in a couple of weeks' time with all the street parties.
I thought you were
and-
going to say something else. Go on, carry
No,
on.
it's only you that's.
It's all gearing up for, the main event.
No, you're ridiculous today. Stop it. Anyway, no, for the street parties, and surely you're old enough, but I remember the Golden Jubilee street parties like they were yesterday, basically.
Nah, I don't.
No?
Nah.
Only 20 years ago. How old are you? Are you pretending you're only 22? Are you trying to get away with pretending you're
Actually
15 years
16.
younger than that? But I remember them like vividly, and it was actually like, obviously coming from London, no one knows their neighbours really. You know the one next to you, but you don't really take any notice of anybody 3 doors down.
That's
because
right. You don't talk to people.
we
You
don't-
stab
yeah.
each other instead.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're not allowed to talk to each other just in case you want to stab each other. But yeah, we all had street parties and everybody came out, and it's actually like a really good thing, like to get everybody in that community actually talking together. So I'm hoping that's the same thing this time round.
Well, I grew up on a main road, so if we'd have shut the road down to do a street party, I think we'd have been in trouble. There'd been congestion all around Huddersfield.
And plus, 4 doors down is your uncle and 5 doors down to Gran. So
It's just a
no one
family
cares,
get-together.
really. Yeah, exactly.
But for the Jubilee, though, there's going to be similar scenes, I'm sure, around the UK. They'll even get a public holiday for it, which I know a lot of people are already looking forward to. A lot of them will hang around in the UK, but I'm sure a lot of them will take a chance for a sneaky trip abroad, maybe to Europe, because they can, because the flights are super cheap and short. And that's exactly what a couple of lads did over in Wales. Now, these guys Imagine, right? I mean, we've had some nights out, haven't we? But imagine having a night out and ending up in Ibiza, because that's exactly what these guys did. So they went for a bit of a pissy night out on a Friday night. And basically, they had a bit of a chit-chat and said, oh, what about we go on a holiday to Magaluf? And someone suggested it, and they went, oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's go over to Mallorca and have this bit of a trip. And they've got in a taxi, stopped off to get their passports, gone straight to the airport, found out that they took the phone chargers. Forget underwear, phone chargers. That's one of the things that they took. And anyway, they headed straight over to the airport, found out they couldn't go to Magaluf because Mallorca flight was full, so they instead decided that they'll settle on Ibiza. And they've gone and had a weekend in Ibiza. And it's just absolutely amazing.
They didn't even have a weekend. It ended up just being a night.
Yeah, but it's weekend, innit? One night.
Sort of.
Friday night, come back Saturday. Near enough.
No, they
Sunday's ironing and lunches day.
Early Saturday morning and came back Sunday. They didn't even book a hotel. They just partied all night.
It was absolutely brilliant. An absolute bender.
I mean, for those listening and can't see the images that we can, it's the epitome of lad culture in the UK, unfortunately. Tops off, sunglasses,
big
beer
sunnies.
in hand. Yeah, it's just, oh my God.
Look at them go. And they're having an absolute blast. But a night out where you end up in Ibiza is pretty
out,
good.
Like, seriously, lads take night out.
And not sleeping.
Economically unsound night out. Seriously.
Absolutely mental. Got some good mileage out of it, though. What a story.
Oh, they've got a story to tell,
yeah,
sure.
they probably didn't come back with much of a time. Imagine they didn't take sunscreen, so they probably came back burned. So, good on them. God bless them. There's a lot of easier ways to have a bit of a trip, though, and get some adventures in your life. If you want to become a flight attendant instead, see the world that way. Because you'll even get a bonus if you decide to go with some of these airlines right now. So they're British Airways and EasyJet are offering £1,000 to cabin crew if they decide to stick around, and they're also offering new employees £500 if they stay more than 3 months. Yeah, which says a lot, doesn't it, about the staff turnover when you've got to pay people extra to stick around, as well as, you know, being paid for your job, which sounds pretty good.
I know, but also it's become like this headhunting kind of bidding war, basically, because I think British Airways started this because they didn't have enough cabin crew. So what they basically said is,
like everyone right now,
join us and we'll give you £1,000 bonus. I think you get 500 after 3 months and the other 500 after 6 months. But you have to be airline accredited. You have to have ID for the airports.
But they don't just let any Tom, Dick and Harry
No,
on.
I know that. But we're hiring by July. So all they're actually saying is, you have to work for one of our competitors. You have to already be in the industry, and that's who we're giving
Or
the
maybe
job
they're
to.
in retirement, or maybe they're doing something else.
Retirement, I didn't think of.
Having a bit of a break.
Yeah, maybe.
Having a sabbatical.
But basically, they're
not going to let just
poaching.
anyone in, are they?
No, but they're just poaching.
History with ISIS.
No,
Come in.
That.
You know.
I don't know why you think I'm saying they'll just let any old Tom, Dick and Harry run a crew. What I'm saying is, by saying that the cut-off is July, they're saying we're only accepting people that are currently in the industry, that currently work at Heathrow and Stansted.
So nicking each other's staff,
they're just nicking each other's
what
staff.
it is.
And
yeah.
so EasyJetters have to come out and say, all right, we'll give, pick a number out of the air, 1,000, which is exactly the same, but we'll give you that even if you just stay. So it's just a
loyalty bonus.
Yeah, but it's just a poaching war. Like, it's basically there's too many flights and not enough people to do them.
I mean, never mind quality of staff as well, because it is important. It's important to have a certain level of standards on certain airlines.
Why didn't they say we'll give £1,000 to anybody who decides that this is the industry for them and they can do?
That'd be nice. Get trained up.
Yeah, get
bottom
some new
up.
people into it.
Yeah.
I'd give it a go.
I would too. Can you imagine? What a job. I mean, you know what? You'd have to deal with a lot of crap people.
I just came back from a flight and we took a child, and no one wants to be looking after.
You got people puking, people getting it on in the toilets, right? People dying. People die on planes. I wouldn't know what to do with somebody if they dropped dead.
Well, of course
What'd you do? Try it anyway. We're talking about dead people.
£1,000 bonus is for.
Yeah.
What is that?
Dead person bonus.
£1,000.
Body bonus. Don't. We've been terrible today.
But yes, that's the golden hello that's currently happening in that industry, which I think is quite interesting. But yeah, why not just emphasise that they just need some new people, new entry-level people that can actually start from the ground up.
It's pure desperation, isn't it? And what we're seeing it across here as well, chaotic scenes at the airports and whatnot. When I was back there as well in Manchester, I remember there were huge queues. They just can't get the staff. Yeah. And when everyone's got COVID, what do you do? People want to go on holiday in droves right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously everything that's gone over the last couple of years, people are desperate to get out, but also are probably desperate to get some food, because shortages all over the place at the moment.
Yes. Yep, under threat, guys. Under threat.
Yeah, the big one's under threat.
The fish and chips.
The fish and chip.
Maybe not the
humble
mushy
fish and chip.
peas. Maybe not fluorescent mushy peas if you're watching on the YouTube. They're very bright mushy peas, those.
I mean,
mushy peas don't look like that colour up in Yorkshire.
Mushy peas just shouldn't exist.
Oh, no,
Full
they're
stop.
good. They're good. You get them in a little polystyrene cup. Like, not in plastic
if
things
they're in a
like that.
polystyrene cup, they must be good.
Mental good.
Everybody knows that polystyrene cup equals
Curry sauce.
hot cuisine.
And, ace. A little plastic, ace.
Anyway.
Honestly, winning.
Anyway,
They don't like good chips, though.
They're under threat because
Double fried them.
I was quite surprised by this, but nearly a third of all whitefish, so your cod and your haddock, your staples, are all actually exported in from Russia. And obviously we've got lots
But do you think that some like little person was sitting like
Gary.
off Blackpool pier,
exactly.
just like with a fishing rod?
No,
Oh yeah, look! Oh, we got some haddock.
No, I
Throw it
didn't.
in.
But you know that there's a couple of other countries in the world where they can fish, right? It's not just Russia. It's
Yeah.
not a big. Yeah, there's 194 countries. I would have thought that some of them else were actually exporting some fish as well.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but obviously with all the sanctions.
I wouldn't go
that are going
fishing
on-
off Blackpool though. To be fair, if anyone's
But you go
thinking
fishing
about
off
it.
Russia. That's your prime
Don't know
location
what
for
they
a
don't-
fishing trip. Anyway.
Anyway.
Because of the sanctions, because of the tariffs that are going on with that, obviously it's just proving really difficult to get them in. And if you do get them in, obviously paying massively over the odds. And yeah, so some experts and some people in the industry are already saying that fish and chip shops are basically closing every day, one new every day, because they think that there's probably going to be 30% less of them by the end of the war, or whenever that might be.
I noticed as well when I were back there. You remember when fish and chips used to be, I mean, I don't know about you, massive deal when I was a kid, right? Always have fish and chip Fridays or whatever. I found it quite hard to find a chippy that were open. Like, there are not many that are open late. They used to like be open late. There used to be loads of them. Now they just feel like they're thinning out like the pubs. You know, there's not many of them around anymore. It does feel like it's becoming less of a British institution. And
That's probably a good thing. I think people realise that there are other foods available, right?
no, we have microchips a lot in ours, and we've discussed this earlier. I know.
God, yeah.
Microchips, right, are the best thing ever.
For who?
They're the best, right? Whack them in, microwave, 3
They're good
minutes,
for
bam, done.
Dogs
right?
and people
Oh,
at
they're
uni.
amazing. And
Seriously, I only know
love
that they
them.
exist because I went away for uni and they're the only thing I could cook.
Well, people-
But anybody that doesn't know, they're 30 seconds in the microwave and that's all you need to do. They're absolutely horrendous.
They're good, and they
It's
come in
just
a
like
little
cardboard.
box, and you shake them
They
up.
come in a box, so they must be
Tell you what,
again,
hot
is it polystyrene?
tip, drown them in ketchup when you've just got out of the microwave. Shut the lid and shake them up.
So there's another thing, right?
Ketchup chips.
Delicacy. Something by definition is not very good if you have to drown it in something else to take the taste away.
Look out, Delia. Ketchup chips is an absolute thing. My
Absolutely.
husband, right, actually, during the pandemic, bought that many microchips. He got done for panic buying by Woolworths. And he had to
The only man in the world that had to hand back microchips.
forget toilet paper. No one had any toilet paper in our house, but we had like 10 boxes of microchips, and he went and bought some, and anyway, the woman in Woolies at the self-checkout took them all off him. Just brutal.
I mean, there's so much wrong with that. And also the idea that she's putting them back on the shelf going, everybody wants them.
Yeah.
Everybody,
They were hot demand.
everybody's after them.
Everybody wants ketchup chips
Probably
during the
been there for
pandemic.
about 4 years. Your husband's the only person that's ever bought them.
They are good. They are
They're not.
good.
They're
I
absolutely
tell you what, they're
disgusting.
bloody good foods.
Anyway.
Anyway, we've got on to this now. I think we need to talk about the football. We've just
Yeah,
got to
exactly.
talk. Because this is good. This is awesome. Look at that. Look at that. Jordan Rhodes. God bless him. We used to hate him.
Seems to have been around for...
When he left us, like, we hated him. And now we absolutely love him. He's a Huddersfield hero. He'll never buy a pint in Huddersfield again, especially if we go up. Because he scored the winning goal against Luton, which has put us back in the playoff final to go to Wembley and playing the richest game in football. Hopefully we'll get promoted to the Premier League when we beat Notts Forest next week.
Interesting game for them, though. So it's actually the first time that they've ever been in a playoff final.
Yeah.
Which is pretty remarkable.
So hopefully they'll crumble under pressure and we'll...
That's pretty good of you.
Right.
No, but it's quite weird for me as someone growing up with Nottingham Forest kind of in the top flight, always were, and they're always very good teams. So, yeah, they've been a bit of a yo-yo club for ever since then, and they haven't actually been... I don't think they've been in the Premiership since 1999, so massive game for them. Bigger game for them, really, than you, I think. in
Yeah,
the
but,
US.
you know, we go up and stay up. We go up for stay up for a couple of
Yeah,
years. We don't
2
just come
years.
straight back down.
Yeah, 2
Oh
years.
no, we don't muck around. I really hope that we go up. I'm not going to fly back for it this time. Did last time. Tempted, but yeah, the Brown family WhatsApp group is going crazy right now. I tell you what, they're going absolutely nuts, my lot. There's all this talk about getting coaches down. Whether we're going to fill it, we're not going to fill it, right? We get 25,000 at a stretch at home. We're not going to sell 40,000 tickets. But I tell you what, there's a lot of bandwagon jumpers.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, everybody's a Huddersfield fan.
Oh,
or a
yeah.
Forest fan,
I tell you what, my brother, he left at half-time when I last went back to see him, right? He left at half-time because he says, I'm not...
him as a half-time leader?
Yeah,
That's
left at
pretty bad.
half-time to go down the pub with his mates. Next minute, he's on the pitch invasion saying, oh, it's wonderful, it's great, you know,
I
we're all
can't
going
believe
to
you've just
Wembley.
done that to him. He's going to get so much abuse for
Such a
telling
bandwagon
everybody that.
jumper, I tell you. They're all doing it. Look, I mean, I'll have it known that I've been to games when there's been 3,000 people in those crowds. So, well, I'd be very pleased, obviously. If they go up, I'm going to be unbearable. But, yeah.
More so.
More so. It does happen. But, yeah, absolutely thrilled. Very good news.
Yeah.
Much as it is to hear Jake Daniels, Blackpool player, coming out as openly gay. For the first time in a very long time, we've had this happen in the UK.
30 years.
And this is wonderful. This is a real step in the right direction and very brave of him. It shouldn't have to be a brave thing.
No.
It shouldn't have to be. It should be just a commonplace thing.
Yeah, of
but
course.
Unfortunately, this makes him quite brave because he is the only one to do it in such a long time.
Exactly, and that's the thing that I've read a lot of commentary about this with lots of people saying this shouldn't be a story, and it shouldn't be, but the fact is it is. And so
Yeah,
I
we're
think,
talking about it, which is good.
But also, you know, plaudits to him. The fact of the matter is that no one's done it in 30 years. So to be the first person to do that is a very big deal, and you know, it is a brave thing to come out and be the one that takes that kind of burden, if you will. And, you know, hopefully this inspires, you know, he said that he knew that he was gay from 5 or 6 years old. Hopefully this inspires other 5 or 6 year olds who know they're gay not to be put off going into a sport where it's not seen or it's not, you know, you can only really aspire to be something where you can relate to the person that you're seeing doing it. So, I mean, we never really saw black people play golf before Tiger Woods, and then he inspired
This
a
is
whole...
it, and let's hope that this is a trend in the right direction.
Yeah.
So on that happy note, happy note, I think that's time for us to bugger off now and give people's ears a break.
I can't hear. I still can't hear.
You stop hearing anything.
But, you know, we should probably bid adieu and come back next week. So thank you ever so much for joining us again this week. Again, subscribe, hit the button, tell your friends if you got any. We don't. And we look forward to...
You've seen how many listens
we don't
we get.
now, anyway. But thank you for joining us again, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, ta-ra.